Welcome to the Intercut Podcast, the weekly show going over the TV, movies, and entertainment that people can't cut away from. I'm your co-host, Zachary Shevich, and joining me, he'd like to thank the Academy. It's Arturo Zurita.
One day. I was actually watching, I forgot, someone was up there and said something that sounded like a sponsorship, and I just imagined any YouTuber, right? All these video, film, essay, the craze that's out there. One of them like getting nominated for award winning and like going up there.
I couldn't have done this without Squarespace.
I'd like to think this speech is sponsored by Squarespace. I'd like to thank the Dollar Shave Club. I'd like to thank domain.com.
Big night for Mexico, dude. Big night for your peeps.
Right, yeah. I was like, sheesh.
Yeah, between Coco and Shape of Water with Guillermo del Toro becoming the fourth Mexican Best Director winner in the last 5 years.
Who's the, well, I guess because Alejandro takes two, right?
Exactly, if you count Alejandro twice in that.
Yeah. Oh, my uncle's doing great jobs. Coron, Iñárritu, and Guillermo. It's a big day for Guillermo's.
Yeah.
Guillermo's in the other theater. Guillermo's there. But, yeah, no, it was pretty exciting. I agree with all of them. I'm happy for all of them. There's only one I have a slight issue with.
Cool. So we will get into all that Oscars stuff shortly. We're going to talk a little bit about fan culture, fans and critics in a bit. But first, let's start with the way we start every week here on the Intercut. What you been watching, Art?
Listening. To surprisingly, there is I forgot what it was. I was watching a video by Now You See It. I think he's a pretty good video essayist. Talks really fast, surprisingly, but he's got a good pace to him. And he was doing one on Dave Chappelle, who I'm a big fan of. I did a video on Dave Chappelle as well, and he came at it from like a really interesting perspective on something that I think makes Dave Chappelle really cool, and that's the way that he approaches jokes and the way that he makes himself like never the victim, even though every one of his setups, he's purposely setting himself up to fail. He's doing it in a way where he wants to put himself in a hole because he don't care about the audience. He's not pulling on a show. Mm-hmm. He's testing himself. Yeah. The show that's going on is with him. I was like, that's really interesting. But what spawned out of this video essay is that he was mentioning people, and he did a little quick thing. And this is what I like the most about these video essays. And a lot of people don't realize that, right? Anybody ever tell you to like talk about a movie because more people need to know about it? And you're like, you're right. No one's seen Super Dark Times. I should probably make a video on a movie no one will click on since they've never seen it.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's sort of a balance there.
Exactly. I figured the best way to talk about it is if you're talking about another bigger movie, another bigger comedian, and the moment you make a mention to like I don't want to call it a throwaway, but you insert a recommendation, you're inserting that recommendation into something that's getting more ears. And I'm really glad that he mentioned this dude I had never heard of, maybe by accident. Maybe I've seen something, heard something. Have you ever heard of Anthony Jeselnik?
I have heard of Anthony Jeselnik.
Holy smokes.
Kind of like a roast master, isn't he?
Dude
right?
is freaking hilarious. I know it's not recent. His last thing was like 2016. I felt like I was like on audible.com with my Apple subscription. I downloaded all of his like the CD stuff where it's just the audio of his stand-up. He is hilarious. There was a bit that he had in the Now You See Me thing. He had like done an insert about how he makes fun of himself and the way he approaches. What makes him so great is how he subverts where you think he's going. Right. He had that one joke about he was like, you know, my mom should have been on the 9/11 flights. She should have been on the planes. At least he thinks so.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing
like
about really good comedians is they'll like introduce a premise, and sometimes you think you know where it's going, and
you're mouthing
that's when
it out.
They kind of just like hit you from the side with something you
like,
weren't expecting at all.
Yeah, so I appreciated that. I've been listening to him. He's got 2 stand-ups I know of that you can listen to on any subscription service that you have. I thought it was very impressive, very funny. He gets very dark sometimes, and he very much confronts the fact that he has very dark jokes to the point that he thinks he's going to get killed one day, and that's his dream. Because he says the moment he gets killed for one of his jokes, he becomes a legend.
Legend, yeah.
So that was interesting. That's what it's been for me.
Awesome.
That and actually one more. 7 seconds. I'll just say that watch 7 Seconds on Netflix. That's all I'll say.
Interesting. I haven't caught up with 7 Seconds yet, but I was curious about it. What I've been watching, preparing for tonight's, whatever's Oscars, I wanted to see some of the short films. I got to finally check out some of the live-action, animated, nominated short films. I wanted to do a shout-out to Garden Party, the animated movie that is kind of like, first of all, impeccably animated, just beautiful the way they animate these frogs and the water. It's some of the most lifelike animation that I've ever seen. But I want to really mention 2 live action shorts in particular. Both of them didn't win, but you can rent both of them on YouTube, I think for $2 each, and it's well worth your time. The first one is DeKalb Elementary. This one is...
I heard people rooting for this.
Yeah, this one essentially is kind of about a school shooting of sorts, but it's not nearly as depressing as I think you're expecting it to be when you hear that kind of premise.
Yeah.
It's really like a very human story where it's the school shooter and the secretary in the principal's office basically like talking to each other and her like calming him down. Really beautifully done and accurate in the way it sort of has the awkward human interaction down. Sort of unexpectedly funny in certain parts.
Because of the tension?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's so tense that when they decide to take a sip of water instead of shoot the gun, it's kind of makes you laugh almost. So I would check that one out, and then as a bit of a palate cleanser afterward, something not as serious. It's called The 11 O'Clock. This one is basically opens in a psychiatrist's office. The psychiatrist asks, "Who's my first patient for the day?" "Oh, he's a guy who has delusions of grandeur and thinks he's a psychiatrist." And then the second man enters his office, and you got to figure out who's who. It's really funny. It's like it ends up doing some who's on first kind of stuff and bantery dialogue. It's really fun. It's definitely worth your time. Only like 11 minutes long. So DeKalb Elementary, The 11 O'Clock. They're both on YouTube, easy to rent them, or you can check out a bunch of short films. I think Amazon has like a 2-hour block that you can buy for like $7, $8. That's got Dear Basketball in it. It's got Garden Party in it. It's got the winner for live action, The Silent Child. So if you wanted to catch up on some of those short films, there's places to do it all over the internet. So it's worth your time.
Is the first one, the elementary one, is that a true story?
It's not a true story, but it's inspired by true events.
Okay.
You know, that can be really loose.
Yeah, it can blur the line and stuff. What did you think of Dear Basketball, though? Since that was the other one that won.
Yeah, Dear Basketball won animation, and I thought it was beautifully animated. I don't necessarily...
Agree with it winning?
Yeah, I mean...
You're not happy that the Mamba got his Oscar?
I mean, it's cool, I guess.
You're not looking forward to him getting more Oscars than he has rings on his hand?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if he goes for the EGOT now or something. Like,
that's what I'm talking.
MVP EGOT.
Well, okay, it's the Emmy, the Grammy,
Yeah, the Oscar and the Tony.
and the Tony,
Yeah.
and the EGOT
And
NBA championship
NBA
All-Star ring.
EGOT and Mame got with the...
NEGOT. It's the NEGOT.
Yeah, NEGOT.
NEGOT. Oh, like, whoa. Okay, we'll put it at the end. EGOT.
There you go. I like that better.
No, my brother was watching the whole thing mainly because he's more sports than anything. So he was just very interested in seeing like if Kobe was going to win. He's like, "Did you hear Kobe was nominated for an Oscar?
Right.
What the heck is this man doing in movies?" So he follows or saw him on Twitter. Supposedly, I can't confirm this, but that now he wants to be a filmmaker.
Yeah, Kobe is like... He's got his whole media company thing that he's been doing those like
He's young?
Muse Cage videos and stuff. Like he's been doing a lot of media stuff and he's really starting to push this. I mean, look, say what you want to about Dear Basketball. I don't think it was the best animated short out of them all.
Not
but
the Oscar winner. But
it is far and away better than you would expect for something that is, as at least they say, it's written by Kobe. I don't know if it's
I don't know about it being written by Kobe, inspired with a ghostwriter, Diane Nguyen, written by
Diane.
Yeah. But
So yeah, I mean, I do think that it's cool for people like your brother who may not necessarily be paying attention to the Oscars. Like,
doesn't know anything else.
Gets people into it. I think you need moments like that
Right.
with movies like that.
He had no idea why they were nominating Billboards. He was like, "Why are they nominating Billboards. I thought this was about movies. I was like, no, that is the movie. He's like, on a billboard? I'm like, no, it's about billboards. Why did they make a movie about billboards? It's not. It's about the woman who... Never mind.
You'll understand when you're older.
But it will be interesting to see. Can you imagine, like, Kobe taking over just the film industry? Like,
Right.
he becomes, like, this crazy filmmaker.
Yeah.
That in his Wikipedia, it says Kobe Bryant's American filmmaker. In trivia questions, did you know that Kobe used to play basketball?
Yeah, we're going to tell our kids, like, he used to be a basketball player.
He used to play basketball.
I mean, it's kind of what's happening to Michael Strahan now, right? Like, he used to play football.
Some people... oh, yeah. Whoa, that's actually a really good point. I did not even think about that. Some people don't realize that he actually used to play football.
Yeah. So let's move on, though. We're going to get into the yay or nays, talking about the 90th annual Oscars. It was a ceremony. It was yet another long ceremony, as they always are, and it had some funny moments, had some not as funny moments, had a lot of satisfying winners, I would say. So let's start off with the top, just the ceremony itself, including Jimmy Kimmel's performance as the host. Do you enjoy it? Do you not enjoy it? Yay or nay?
Performance. I thought he started off strong.
The monologue was very good.
The monologue was very good, which I expect from Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
I think is really good. Earlier, since I never really caught the Golden Globes, I know we talked about him. We did a little recap on him in terms of the awards. I watched Seth Meyers.
Yeah.
Which wasn't as bad as I heard some people say it was. He had some good jokes in there,
Yeah.
but he also had some, like... the ones that don't get any response.
Yeah.
I thought Jimmy's monologue was good. The problem with the Oscars and the problem with it being so long is that there are points where you go, oh, Jimmy's here.
Right, yeah. There's always that weird thing of like, well, I guess Jimmy's going to do another bit now that we've gotten through 4 awards. It never, I don't think any Oscars performance or ceremony that I've watched has found the right balance between let's entertain you and let's get through these nominations. You know, it always kind of feels like they're very deliberately shifting gears.
Right, like we were talking about, I would say, what's his name? Seth MacFarlane definitely wanted to do a very performance, very, host, energetic. The only problem with Seth MacFarlane is that he then does a musical called Show Me Your Tits,
Yeah.
and people don't like half the jokes. He's got the Nazis coming out, that Nazi bit, I don't know if you remember it, or it's like the Sound of Music thing. I personally was a big fan of Neil Patrick Harris. Only problem with Neil Patrick Harris, and I'm sure you enjoyed him too, if you remember, like he actually did the silhouette of the Oscar.
Right.
It's cool, but it alienates everybody else who has no idea the references and everything that he's doing. Which makes you go, during the Super Bowl, they're not giving you the play-by-play if you don't understand football, but
Right.
they do give you the halftime show.
No, it's
So
that
there
weird
has to-
thing. It's that weird thing of like, are you playing towards the casual people or are you playing towards
Right.
the really, really into it people?
Exactly. So I don't know. I feel like that's the part that needs to come in. I know the bit that they always want to make the thing, and I feel like no one's been able to do it better than Ellen with the selfie.
Yeah.
Just because that, in and of itself, was quick. It was funny. It was. I think it's a classic moment.
And she also ordered the pizza, right? Because I feel
She ordered
like
the pizza. I think it
that's
was when she had
been
ordered the
copied
pizzas and everybody,
so many
and then
times
everybody
since
tries to do
then,
the
yeah.
same thing, giving food away and whatever else. What was Jimmy's last year?
So last year they did that bringing
They
in
brought the people in.
tourists who didn't know they were going to be at the Oscars, and this year they did another one of those kind of prankish things where they brought a whole bunch of celebrities over from the Oscar ceremony to the Chinese theater across the street and interrupted a screening of A Wrinkle in Time to surprise the audience there, who all really, really flipped out. Did you think that bit worked? Did you think it worked better than the tour thing?
Trash. I'm going to explain to you why. It was to thank the people who go to the movies. We want to thank you, viewer, who isn't even watching the Oscars, so you don't care about it. Now, do not get me wrong. Those people obviously like movies.
Yeah.
But if you've ever been to screenings, and I will say this even more, A Wrinkle in Time comes out this Thursday. And in California, there's a lot more screenings. These screenings are for people who don't really care about movies. They care about free movies. This is not to neglect them in any way, shape, or form. Do not get me wrong. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do you get what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes.
It's like giving an award, giving money to a person to go on a shopping spree. It's not really the people who care about the Oscars. And I found it interesting because some people said, I had a freaking screening to go to that one and I didn't.
That's
Why
so
didn't
funny.
you? That's right, because you're actually the fans they were talking about, and you wanted to watch the Oscars. Besides me being like cynical on that side, it's just, it's not that it's bland, but once you get past the moment of like, oh, look at them, it's cool. It's cool if you're there.
Yeah.
But do you remember when he did the bit when he tried having the guy like announce the award?
Right. And it was the camera
Cloverfield?
couldn't quite get him, and there's people passing in front.
it became
and the guy
quarantine?
his voice was
Yes.
a little bit shaky. He mispronounced Tiffany Haddish.
Everyone's talking. There's a hot dog wiener machine being
So
blown in people's faces.
I think it honestly comes down to a really simple thing. With the Oscars tour bit, Jimmy only has to control like the 10 or 20 people that they're escorting through the room, and there's only like 2 or 3 he's going
They
to worry
crossed
about
the
being on
street.
camera. Yeah, they left the theater and went to a room full of people who, like, first of all, when you're in a crowd like that, everybody starts freaking out for the most attention, and it just kind of, the bit died because you couldn't really hear anything. I thought
Exactly.
it felt disorganized. Like, it was cute as
It is.
an idea, but I just didn't think it worked.
Right.
I liked the tour thing better, but I thought both of them are just a little bit too. They felt too elongated, I think.
It's also ironic because he's like, I'm going to give out a jet ski for those of you who hurry up. Now let me do the longest bit in the history
Yes.
of Oscars.
The jet ski bit, I will say, is one of my favorite bits in maybe a couple of years of Oscars. I think that was
The jet-
really.
it was funny,
smart.
especially-
It was smart. They brought it back. I love that they got Mark Bridges riding out on the jet ski
That
with the
was
life
funny.
vest at the end. That cracked me up.
Him getting into it was the funny part.
Yeah.
It was like, hold on, so did they pay you to have are you really that happy to get the jet ski?
Right?
But no, overall, I think he's fine. I think he's an adequate host.
Yeah.
I do on Billy Eichner. I don't know why. He tweeted something, and I'm like, get this man on. That'd be very interesting.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. You know, I also watched the Independent Spirit Awards. They're on the day before the Oscars, and they had Nick Kroll and John Mulaney hosting, and they were excellent.
Right, but you and I like him.
Yeah, I don't know how that'll translate to a big audience, but I do think that they are kind of, this is their second year doing the Independent Spirit Awards. I think they maybe could earn a call up. I don't know. Maybe.
Right. Okay, you're saying a call up. You're really gonna do that? You're really gonna give them the call up and not the other duo?
What other duo? Tina and Amy?
You don't think they've earned it?
They've earned it, but I almost feel like they don't want it. They've done the Globes 3 times. Maybe they want it. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, exactly. They've done the Globe 3 times. How would they not want the Oscar? They're literally they're asking for the promotion. They go, Jimmy, you want it again?
Yeah, well, you know who else they could have gone with, in my opinion, is Tiffany Haddish and Maya Rudolph, because that was my favorite presentation of the whole night.
Screw the Oscars. Just have a Tiffany Haddish and Maya Rudolph live stream.
Yeah, them
That is-
holding their
that is
shoes,
it.
not talking about the awards, just saying hi to Meryl.
My brother was introduced to Tiffany Haddish for the first time tonight. His girlfriend was watching the awards with us, and she was like, "Oh, Tiffany Haddish, she's so funny." And I was like, "Yeah, she's really, really funny." And then she's like, "How is she so funny?" We both looked at him and just said, "We're not even gonna explain to you. You know a person is funny when you don't go. I'm not gonna bring up any past jokes. Watch what she's about to do."
Right.
And the confidence you say as someone who's seen her do work. He goes up there, he's cracking up the entire time.
She's
She
just got that
the
essence.
energy. Essence, exactly.
Yeah, she's
Fantastic.
hysterical. I love that bit a lot. Probably my favorite of the presenters, although I thought the bit that Kumail and Lupita did was pretty funny too.
Kumail's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. Like
It was
my name
good. It was
actually
like
Chris Pine.
it was class because to me Lupita Nyong'o is the definition of class,
Yes.
elegance, and then he's just funny. He's
Yeah.
really funny.
Yeah.
Did you see his thing when Get Out won? Was it Get Out? When
No,
Get
I
Out
didn't.
won, he tweeted out, "This just in, Big Sick got second place."
He's
I
been
like
killing
that.
it on this
I like
Oscars
that.
cycle on Twitter.
Exactly.
He's been really great.
I like that, because you got your people who are willing to admit something, and then you got your Sufjan Stevens who swear in the background before the camera cuts.
So let's actually get to that.
right.
Musical performances. We had Sufjan Stevens.
Trash.
We had Mary J. Blige.
Sorry.
We had The Greatest Showman.
Decent.
Look, I'm pulling for Sufjan always. I've been on
Always.
Sufjan's corner for over a decade. That's my dude. He had a lot of the Elliott Smith getting lost in the stage thing.
Yeah, can we be honest with this? Because I heard so many people tweeting, "Oh my goodness, that was fantastic," and I was like, "We about to have a topic about fans later on in this show."
Yeah.
But it's just like y'all need to realize that when you love someone and they're about to fall off a cliff, you don't go, oh, but I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Right. Yeah, look, I've seen Sufjan live. He's a really great live
Oh, for
performer. Yeah, I've seen him.
Okay.
He
is.
can do
I've seen his stuff on YouTube.
He could do really crazy, awesome live shows. He wears
Crazy
wings
jackets.
and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen him do wings.
But like, this wasn't that performance.
This
and
wasn't
I
it.
think the Oscars sometimes put you in a really confined box, and that's not
No, it
how
does not.
Sufjan works.
I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. Y'all need to stop disrespecting. I'm being disrespectful because I don't know her name, but the girl who did the Moana soundtrack last year, who performed, did fantastic, and that girl got hit in the face.
Hit in the face
with a banner. She got hit in the face. She just whipped her hair like that and finished that performance and hit every single note. I think Mary J. Blige did a good performance. You're lying to me if you're not going to admit that she peaked on some of the notes. Watch the performance. She tells you herself by the way that she looks down when you know she didn't hit it.
Yeah,
Sufjan
she's that
himself,
good of a performer. She knows,
and
all
she
that.
is, and exactly, she knows. Sufjan did the exact same thing. Let's not lie about this. Sufjan did it. Sufjan clearly was partying last night, or I don't know what he was doing, but he was aware because the guy to his right, who was supposed to sync with him, went, "You are not at the pitch that you're supposed to be, because I'm over here, and you're 6 packets of cigarettes down here."
Yeah.
Let's be completely honest. We've binged the song. Stop pretending like that was anything like the recording, which it doesn't have to be, but it should at least be half of what the recording was. Remember Me. Why did y'all put my man Gael
Gael
Garcia out there?
I know, man. He's
You know those scenes? You know those
he's
scenes
kind
in
of
Black?
not a singer.
No.
I mean, like, they at least bring out the kid if you're gonna bring out someone from the movie.
You know when a
That'd be
shirt.
charming.
You know when a shirt don't fit you, but you want to make it fit.
That's
So
Gael.
you don't breathe for the rest of the night, and you just do this. That was Gael trying to creep up on the notes.
Yeah.
Even once he finished, he said, "Remember me." Then looked at the dude like, "Boy, what's up?" I did like Miguel. I thought that was funny. I said, "Yo, it's
I'm
Miguel."
glad that they brought those guys.
They were like,
the
"That's
Spanish
Miguel
singer,
from the
too.
movie." Yeah, oh, the Spanish singer was fantastic as well. That part was good. Should not have had Gael outside. I thought the "This Is Me," which has, I keep forgetting how big of a fan base it has.
Mm-hmm. Twitter went crazy.
I thought it was going to win. I really did think it was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she did good.
Mm-hmm.
The best part about that performance was when she does the crying part. And I was like, dang, she's getting... Oh, that's from the movie. Because then she hits you with the, "This is me." I was like, oh, this is her. But I think the best one, hands down, was Common. I know he did his little, like, I don't want to call it a freestyle, but he switched up. He added that extra verse in the beginning. And I'm blanking on her name, but I know she was on the Hamilton soundtrack.
Warren?
No, Adra Day.
Okay, that was
I think that's her name. Yeah, and I believe she is. She's in the Hamilton remix
Andra Day,
soundtrack.
you're right.
Her voice, man, she killed it.
Yeah,
Did you
I
s-
thought she was the performer of the night
She
when it came to
was
the musical numbers.
insane. That was hands down best
Yeah.
one. Her red carpet pictures are fantastic as well. I had to search it up. I was like, was she in Hamilton or on the Hamilton remix? So as I'm searching it up, I get this little like article. This woman, they were taking pictures, and she says, "Screw that." She sat down on the. You have to search this up. I kid you not. If you pull up whatever it is, she sits down and poses on the red carpet. Just takes a nap.
I'm
Dopest
looking at
thing.
this now. This is awesome.
Dopest thing. I'm gonna start listening to her music for that alone.
So I think we were pretty satisfied with her performance above the others, even if we didn't necessarily want that to win.
That was the first time I heard the song.
Yeah, I think we should talk a little bit about the way that the awards were distributed. This
Okay.
was not a particularly heavy on one film night. Shape of Water ended up winning 4, Dunkirk won 3, 4 other movies won 2 Oscars, Blade Runner, Coco, Darkest Hour, and 3 Billboards. You also had Get Out not going home empty-handed, Phantom Thread not going home empty-handed. So how do you feel, not so much about who the awards went to, but the overall distribution? Do you feel like everybody got a little bit of something? Lady Bird got shut out.
Lady Bird got nothing, but it did get recognized by your girl who went up there and had every woman stand up from there to Mississippi.
Missouri.
Oh, my bad. Right outside Missouri. You're right. Oh, dang it. Dang it.
You missed it.
I missed it, man. And I had it right there, too. No, I thought it was good. I think as of recent years, they've been able to do that. Give a little bit to everyone and stuff like that. I would have wished that I really would have wished that Best Picture and Best Director were separate.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, myself included,
I'm that type of guy. I kind of like seeing that.
we're looking at the trend over the last few years where they've been splitting Best Director and Best Picture, except for the year that Birdman won both.
Yeah, that's what it is. Get a Mexican, the Mexican doubles up. Yeah, Birdman won both, right?
Yeah, I think
if
so.
I'm not mistaken. It was the following year where he got it for Revenant, but he didn't get it for went to Spotlight.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is the second time in the last 6 years where the director and picture winner were the same. And it's a little bit of a shame, just considering that it kind of feels like
You're hearing the same guy. Yeah, you're hearing the same guy go up there and speak again. And don't get me wrong, I love my Uncle Guillermo, but I don't know. I was thinking I would have liked seeing a surprise. Obviously, Get Out being the surprise would have been insane. I'm still more than happy, and I am completely grateful for what it did get.
I was convinced that it was going to win when it beat
for a second,
both,
right?
When it beat
for
both
a second?
Shape of Water and Three Billboards for Screenplay. I thought that was it.
It would have been nice to see Lady Bird. If Lady Bird went empty-handed, but then it gets the big prize. But then I can definitely see the conspiracies going. That don't make no sense. You guys are literally picking and choosing what gets it. But that there's 8,000 Academy members. I think it would be too hard of a conspiracy to pull off. So it made sense, I believe, for Shape of Water. The way that you've explained it, I know you've made videos in the past about this as well, the whole distribution and how it goes. So I figured, I was like, it was bound to have been not what people voted number one, but what so many people voted number two.
Exactly.
And I think that's
with the preferential ballot, so the preferential ballot makes it so that no movie can win Best Picture if it doesn't receive at least 50% of the votes. And it's a ranked ballot, so considering there's 9 nominees, it's more than likely that no one film is going to get 50% of the number 1 place votes. So it matters a lot if something is coming up in 2nd place, if something's coming up in 3rd place on people's ballots. That's kind of also why I felt like Get Out might take it, because I thought
it's
a lot of people's like 2nd or 3rd favorite movie, whereas Shape of Water and Three Billboards felt a little more polarizing, but apparently it wasn't polarizing enough. People seemed to really dig Shape of Water. It got those 4 Oscars. But yeah, I mean, I did appreciate the fact that a lot of good movies got love. Dunkirk got some nominations for its really great technical achievements. Not Nolan, but my man's got time. He's going to make a lot more big movies.
Time's what he has in all of his movies, man. That's what he incorporates in everything he's got. Isn't that ironic? Literally had his pocket watch as the score of the last movie. Literally his pocket watch was the score of the last movie. So he better not run out of it, because that's what we've been saying. We're I'm fans of the people, not so much the movie. I like seeing Guillermo win. I love seeing Get Out one. That's cool. I loved seeing the man who was on freaking Mad TV back in the day. Everyone keeps saying Key and Peele, and don't get me wrong, that's huge. But I remember him from Mad TV, and now he's getting an Oscar in a Blumhouse production. Boy,
thanking Chelsea Peretti in the audience. Like,
boy,
his wife. Yeah, his wife Chelsea Peretti.
Man.
Let's head into the rough cuts and just do quick hits on some of the winners, whether or not we were happy, whether or not it was what we wanted to see. For song, Best Original Song, Remember Me from Coco won. You okay with this one? I know we were big on the Sufjan train, but
yeah, I feel a lot of people wanted This Is Me, my personal favorite, Mysteries of Love. In fact, Visions of Gideon, I would have given to Visions of Gideon. Right? Visions of Gideon was the better song on there, but I wanted Sufjan to win. Thought it was funny that he swore. If you look at it very carefully, he says, this is not good. And I thought the acceptance speech was a little weird that the guy cut off his own wife. I like him. I liked them. They already won for Let It Go, though. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing also with the...
I like the song, though.
This Is Me people, that they won last year for City of Stars, so... I mean, you're going to end up giving a second-time winner. Yeah, you're going to end up getting a second-time winner again unless you give it to Sufjan. I would have liked to see Sufjan, but Remember Me is a really good song, and it bothers me when Best Original Song goes to a song that's not really part of the movie, and this was like an integral part of the movie, so I appreciate that at least. Best What was another surprise to me? Best original screenplay. Let's jump right to that.
Okay.
It was a category with 4 Best Picture nominees and the Big Sick, but it's Get Out that ultimately wins. I think a lot of people were expecting Three Billboards or Shape of Water here, maybe even Lady Bird, because Lady Bird, oddly enough, beat Get Out for Best Screenplay at the Independent Spirit Awards. Art, what did you think about Jordan Peele's win for Get Out?
Only award that I actually stood up and cheered for.
Yeah.
Without even, it's like I can't. When Get Out won Best Original Screenplay, it's like I jumped out of the sunken place. Which also, can we talk about how Lakeith Stanfield had the best bit?
Yes, I loved that.
If anyone can read what was on his hand, because I felt he was trying to, he had something written on his hand.
That's a very Lakeith thing to do too.
That is a very Lakeith thing to do. I also think it's a very Lakeith thing to do was that clearly in the rehearsal, Jimmy said, we cut it here and then we go. And Lakeith, day of, goes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Leave it to Lakeith to still be in character. But no, it was literally like I came out of the sunken place. It was like, whoa, my body before my mind could even react to it was excited to it. I saw a lot of people on Twitter going like, I didn't even know I was that excited for it to win.
Right. I think it's one of those things where sometimes you get happy for something because you expect it to win, and sometimes a surprise just catches you off guard and fills you with joy. That was that for me. I really didn't think it was going to get screened. I was even predicting that my last prediction was that Get Out would be the first Best Picture winner since 1935 to not win any other categories. So when it won screenplay, I started freaking out. I thought it was definitely going to win Best Picture.
Right.
No, didn't do that. More on that in a little bit. What was the category that you wanted to talk about? You said there was something that bothered you.
Oh, it was Remember Me.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That was the one. Yeah, it was that specifically because of the Sufjan Stevens thing, the way he reacted to it.
Do you think that the film editing going to Dunkirk was the right choice?
No.
It's a pretty exciting category with Baby Driver and I, Tonya in there.
Do you know which one I wanted? If you can take a guess.
I mean, I would guess Baby.
Yes, 1,000%. No, 1,000%.
Yeah.
It was a no-brainer to me. Now, to me, second was Dunkirk. Second really was Dunkirk. Mm-hmm. But I just felt what Baby Driver made the movie. And don't get me wrong, Dunkirk, it also does. It also, like, really is an integral part of the movie. I mean, editing is an integral part to every movie.
Right.
But we're talking about in terms of, like, the way that it really relies on it. When it becomes a character in the film. It is one in Dunkirk, but Baby Driver is not Baby Driver if it's edited differently than that way. If it's told without all the cuts, without all the mixing that happens to it. You know what I mean? And I just felt like...
You and I, in the past, have talked about our love of Whiplash. And that's a movie that's just edited to the rhythms of that music. It's got a pace to its own, and that movie owes its pace to the way it's edited. And you can make the exact same argument for Baby Driver. I thought Dunkirk was exceptionally well edited, so I wasn't like...
It is, don't get me wrong.
Mad
Everything
about
that's
it.
nominated is, but I
don't
know.
Yeah, sometimes a movie is so reliant on the editing being perfect. And I think that's something that's great about all Edgar Wright's movies is just how, like, frame perfect they cut together. It would have been nice to see that rewarded. I thought it was cool that it even got the nomination despite not really being a Best Picture frontrunner or anything like that. So I'm not heartbroken about it, but yeah, I think it would have been cool to see that, or even I, Tonya, which I thought was also a really well edited movie, get some love in that category.
True. Yeah.
All right, so let's jump to the big ones. Supporting actor, supporting actress. Allison Janney and Sam Rockwell have been the frontrunners for a long time. I actually, I'll tell you just this little bit anecdote. I ended up talking with a guy who's producing a movie, and he has Sam Rockwell attached to it. And back in July, before I even really knew he was talking about Three Billboards, he told me, like, yo, Sam Rockwell's going to win an Oscar this year. And lo and behold, that dude predicted this like 7 months ago. And Sam Rockwell is now an Oscar winner. Not my favorite Sam Rockwell performance. That'd probably be him in Moon.
It's weird.
But he deserves some love.
Loved it.
And Allison Janney, I think, is a
well.
great actress too. I preferred Laurie Metcalf's performance, but I think Allison Janney, I really respect her career and stuff. A lot of time these things end up being career awards.
As we will get to with the later ones.
So yeah.
I went with those two as well. For me, it was Allison Janney in that. I do also prefer Laurie Metcalf. I don't think it was big enough for supporting. I mean, she is supporting in the movie, and she's a supporting actress. And it's funny when they show you the clips, and they show you just like, like for the women's, for the actress, hands down the best one that they showed was the I, Tonya clip.
Yeah.
Blowing away. That's the one where if you haven't seen the movie, you go, I gotta watch that movie. For me, when they showed the Phantom Thread clip, when she gives the line about the I will tear you to the ground right now, do not speak to me that way.
Yeah.
You are not my boss. I was like, should she get it?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Dude,
Like those are the bits.
I had like a small feeling that if everybody like saw Phantom Thread, they would have voted for her. I don't know if everybody even saw. Jennifer Lawrence turned it off after 3 minutes apparently. I
Pause.
Yeah.
What?
You didn't hear about this story?
Why?
Jennifer Lawrence said that she didn't want to watch a movie about a narcissistic sociopath, which, like we'll talk about.
Mother?
We can talk about that another time. Yeah.
Okay.
But she apparently turned the movie off 3 minutes in, which another thing, I don't know why we all have to discuss the opinion of someone who seen 3 minutes of a movie. Just like, can we just say that makes her opinion irrelevant a little bit? Anyway, I think Leslie Manville really could have won that, but I would have been happy for her or for Laurie, but I still am happy for Allison.
That is cool.
Let's talk best.
Allison Janney wasn't lost, bro.
Yeah.
She wasn't lost.
She's the mom.
Yeah, she's the mom.
Best actor.
She gave birth to the island.
Best actress, Gary Oldman, Frances McDormand. I think we are both in favor of the Frances McDormand win.
Yes, even when she started acting like Emperor Palpatine, as some people have said. Can you explain it to me? I've never been so conflicted of like, yo, this is a dope. What noise is she making? No, cool. Yeah, I'm with you. That line is too. What is that noise?
Yeah, I think the moment maybe carried her away. I don't know. I'm trying to be kind.
Is that what happens when you marry a Coen brother?
When you marry a Coen brother, you're not used to being not awkward in public. I mean,
bro,
can you?
I'm being straight. I'm being honest, and I wanted her to win. I'm happy she won. I thought her speech was fantastic. Mm-hmm. Y'all kidding me if there wasn't so many memeable moments within that speech.
Yeah, she was turned into a GIF instantly.
Wow, I was like, bro, what is she doing? I thought like electricity was gonna come out of her fingertips or something. Mm-hmm. But no, she deserved it hands down. I was watching them, and there were other ones that I wanted to win. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, this is hers.
Sadly, this also means the end to #Timothy acted through the credits. #Timothy acted through the credits. Timothy Chalamet did not pick Hope the Best Actor award. It went to Gary Oldman. Art, how are you feeling?
Visions of Gideon plays in the background.
Just need like a soft fireplace glow.
Wish if you could just quickly. I'm speaking in retrospect here. If you just quickly have inserted Visions of Gideon as you zoom in on my face, man. Obviously, Timmy was mine to win, but you know what? Timmy went to the Oscars with his mom.
That was cute.
And they were both so adorable, and he was just excited to be there.
Yeah.
And Timothy has his entire life ahead of him. He is going to win something. Tanya. What's her name? She has her whole life ahead of her. What's her name?
Robbie?
Margot Robbie. She's got her entire life ahead of her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's ones where I was like, that's right, you're going to get him next time. Hopefully they don't Leonardo DiCaprio, whatever it is, but you're going to get him.
Yeah.
I'm happy Gary Oldman won it.
Yeah, I mean, Gary Oldman.
I'm happy for him. It's fantastic. It hit me. He is Christian Bale.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you see the full facial hair and stuff, he really does kind of look like a 20 years older Christian Bale.
My brother thought he was Heisenberg.
Why didn't we ever get a Christian Bale as his son movie?
What do you
need that? We need Gary Oldman to play Christian Bale's father.
Because I guess they're kind of the same age.
But
if he gets the same makeup team.
There we go. Yeah, put him in the Churchill makeup.
Exactly.
Get Christian Bale just as is and run.
No,
with
but
that.
he is Gary Oldman slept on. Go back and look through his stuff, right? Not just his IMDb, because you're really not going to get it. You're going to be like, oh, he was in that movie? Like, actually search up the roles and be like, the heck was he doing in The Fifth Sense? Mm-hmm. Or in the is that what it's called? The Fifth Sense?
Element?
The Fifth Element. I just combined 2 Bruce Willis movies.
Yep.
The Fifth Element, playing like a ghetto, futuristic mob boss.
I mean, that dude is a chameleon, you know?
He plays a
chameleon
dwarf in
who
that.
doesn't get the credit for that type of work he does, so...
So no, he more than worthy on it. Seeing the clip, however, of the Posh clip from Phantom Thread also made me go.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that even though I think Gary Oldman is an amazing actor, his performance. Now that I've caught up with Roman J. Israel Esquire, I gotta say it might be my least favorite of all the Best Actor performances. I mean, I get why it's never gonna lose to like the Daniel Kaluuya performance or anything like that, but I think there's more interesting things happening. Even
the Daniel and they played the best scene from Get Out. That is the one scene that you play for his performance thing. Mm-hmm. That is the one scene you play for him. I mean, you know, he got it. Because I don't know what would have been the next thing. And here's the thing. I still think Gary Oldman has many more years ahead of him as well. You know, acting ain't sports. That ain't football. You still, if you got it in, you got it in you. I mean, look at Christopher Plummer. And I will take I think Christopher Plummer jokes are the funniest jokes in the world. I have seen him in every single award show. I have yet to see one that fails. The bit about the first joke at the Oscars was, and our youngest Oscar nominee is Christopher Plummer. They're fantastic. Mm-hmm. Every Christopher Plummer joke for me has hit. So I thought that was funny.
Let's move on to the final categories. We talked about it briefly. Director and picture both go to Shape of Water. Mm-hmm. Big ups to Guillermo del Toro. I think a lot of people love this dude as a filmmaker. I mean, even if you don't love Shape of Water or Pan's Labyrinth, you might love his more mainstream stuff like Pacific Rim or Hellboy. He's a visionary, and I'm glad that he's been given this crown of sorts, that he's been awarded, and for what is probably going to be one of his best films. I mean, I thought Shape of Water was great. You know, ultimately, I do think it's a little bit of a curse to get that Best Picture nomination, or excuse me, Best Picture win. You know, it ends up being like, really, that's the movie that beat Get Out and Lady Bird, and it's like, I don't know.
Because it's already being talked about as the fish sex movie.
Fish sex for the win.
Even people who haven't seen the movie are jumping up on the meme. Oh, fish sex, which really undermines what the movie is about. And don't get me wrong, I made my own fish sex jokes as well, and I've seen the movie and I support my uncle all the way. It's still funny. Mm-hmm. A lady has sex with a fish in the movie. You can make jokes about that. I don't like the people who go like, no, you can't make jokes because there's a message in here, okay? The neighbor is gay. She is mute. It is about so much more, okay? The color... No one is denying that. We can still be pretentious and really talk about that. It won Best Picture. Yeah. But people can still make fish jokes, gay fish, the sex fish jokes that happens into it. I think it still stands because I love what he said in the speech that he gave for the Best Picture win. And this was something that I had recently seen in Annihilation as well, where he said sci-fis are the best to do this. Genre films are the best way to tell a concept that's just a little too iffy in real life to talk about. Mm-hmm. Put it in a thing that's so out of this world, right? Politics. Well, no one wants to talk politics, and they get so crazy when it comes to government and fascism. You know what? Let's put it into a story about monsters in Pan's Labyrinth. Right?
This is the BoJack rule, right? When you're so ridiculous, people take you so seriously sometimes.
There you go.
You know, when you go so far to one direction, they accept when you go so far in the other direction.
1000%. And I think he's become the king of it. So it will be really interesting because it was Vice, Vox, one of those, you know, YouTube people that made a video titled... Actually, no, it was Now This Nerd that has started on Facebook and now is on YouTube. For whatever reason, they had these two hosts, and the video was called. It's very interesting. I'll send you the link later. Maybe we'll post it. Why genre films never win the award? And it was specifically horror and creature features. Mm-hmm. The irony.
Right. Well, so it's. I think worth noting that this is maybe the second fantasy film to ever win Best Picture after Lord of the Rings. So it's, that genre barrier, which, like, yes, that video is probably already outdated, but it was a real barrier at one point. It definitely
it's
seems
still a good
less,
video. Still a good video. But.
less and less of a barrier, given that, we see how well Get Out did. We see that Shape of Water swept so many of these categories. I think it was a really fun Oscars, though. I mean, did you have problems with how long it ran, or I kind of feel like everybody complains every year, and it's always long, but it's never really like, oh well, this was a particularly long. They're all long.
I'm gonna tell you exactly how to fix it, and someone brought up a really good point. If the Oscars is an award show, pay attention to your nominees. Give them more time. Extend that, insinuate something. Do a bit within giving them the Oscars. Actors who should know how to act?
Right.
Yet they suck when they're out there hosting because they're not given a good script or don't know how to. Get people like Tiffany Haddish, right? Get people who can go out there and make a bit and make the whole presentation for the award worth it. Stop with all these side things of giving people food and all this other stuff. No. It's dumb. The one time that I remember it being a good bit when they went out to the movie goers was whenever White Chicks was nominated. I don't know if you remember this bit. They went out and they asked people what they thought of these movies that were nominated for Oscars, and they said, "I never seen that movie." Then they asked them, "What do you think should have been nominated?" And it was like a bunch of black people and like Mexicans going, "White Chicks was snubbed." Something like that, a pre-rehearsed bit that still gets the people. It's still edited in a way, but I think if it's an award show and it needs to be cut down, then get rid of the fat and focus in on the nominees. Yeah. Make them feel special. Give them something. Like you said, that bit, the ski bit, it was literally incorporated. When these capsules go up of Sam Rockwell winning an award, that thing will forever, years from now when you click it, right? When you see the Fellini, is that was his name? What was the Italian dude who jumps on the things?
Oh, shoot.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
All those like crazy ones.
Benini.
When what's his name kisses Halle Berry, right? All those
Adrian
iconic
Brody.
Things.
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell's literally starts with, "You guys ain't gonna help me get the jet ski."
Yeah, Jordan Peele had a good jet ski joke.
You get what I mean? It literally was incorporated into the yearbook thing, right?
Yeah.
The yearbook signature that is their Oscar moment. So that's where I think the time should be put. Cut everything else out.
I gotta agree with you there. But for now, we're done with the Oscars. It's been a lot of coverage. Thank you if you've been watching that coverage. Leave us your comments on what you thought about the awards down below. I'd love to hear what you thought, whether you thought the nominees and winners were all deserving. Let us know. We're going to move on, though, to our topic of the week. And this week's topic is on fan culture. There's been an increasing talk of divide between what fans think and what critics think, and backlash against movies that are ostensibly for the fans. There's this whole Star Wars reboot, trilogy, expansion, whatever you want to call it. It's not, there's a thinking behind it that we can do this and give the fans what they've been asking for, more Star Wars movies. Yeah. Yet you see, in a lot of cases, these core groups of people who really, really love these products rebelling against the push for these new ones, rebelling against the new movies, despite the fact that sometimes critics seem to really embrace them. There was the divide between critics and fans over the remake of Ghostbusters. There's the backlash against the more recent Star Wars movie. I think this occasionally crops up all the time with DC movies, occasionally crops up with Marvel movies too. Art, what do you think is driving this divide in what fans say and what critics say?
I think people forget that critics are also fans. Right? Like, people forget that critics can also be fans.
Yeah. Not to say like every single critic is a fan, but there's a lot of them out there.
They're also fans.
I'll just like, pop the hood for a second. When you work for a review site, you're often talked to about like, what movie do you want to see? Are you willing to do this? Do you have knowledge of this going? And if the answer is no, it's for a specific reason. It's like, this is an outsider's perspective on it. But if there's two people working at a magazine and one really, really loves this franchise, they're going to be the one that gets tap to do that review, because you want people with knowledge to
Of
review
the
movies.
material, exactly.
Yeah. If you're the New York Times, you don't want people who don't know anything to be talking about these movies.
Exactly. Just never read the New Yorker. So what I'm getting at is that if critics can also be fans,
Shout out to Brody.
Fans can also themselves be critical. Sometimes critical to the point that they don't want something new; they will just want the same old, same old.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the divide just comes. To me, I think people look for different reviews. Some people really, really, honestly, so if I'm going to say my piece here, some people, all they want to hear is someone who agrees or just reinstates their opinion. A Marvel movie comes out, they only want to hear the reviews that talk about something good. If they see a review that talks about something bad, they're going to be like, you're a freaking liar.
Right.
The movie ain't even
You're
come out for
getting
you
paid.
yet. The movie hasn't even come out for you yet. You don't even know. No, but I know you're lying. No, that is not how words work. You literally don't know I'm lying because you yourself haven't seen it. Well, I know it's going to be good. Then, buddy, there's a whole nother issue. And I don't care about Marvel DC. I care about good movies, and that's what I'm talking about. I have seen very many cases where people only want to listen to what they want to hear. As someone who makes a lot of explain videos, I've had people come from other explain videos going, hey, you were wrong about this. Chlorophyll paradox. Chlorophyll, where I said that everything was in one, or everything that was in separate universes. Someone made a video, right, giving a theory. It clearly didn't hold up, as we all know now, right? But the moment that video was made, it gave everyone who said, and I literally have comments like this, I don't care if it doesn't make sense. They're all in the same world for me, and damn it, that's the way that I'm going to see it. I don't care what anyone else says.
Okay.
That's fine. Do not speak in public, though, because that's not going to make any sense. And
Right.
if you want to put a public opinion, that's fine. If you want to put a public opinion, however, you will be corrected, especially when those movies that you love, the people who made them, are telling you that it's wrong. So what I'm getting with that is that when it comes to people who love or want to hate a movie, they will literally avoid logic to when it comes to like a Last Jedi thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't care about it, Last Jedi being good or bad in any way, shape, or form anymore. Because what's more entertaining is seeing you guys rip each other apart. As a non-biased Star Wars viewer, because I did not grow up with it or anything, it has been so intriguing to see how it went. When I first came out of The Last Jedi, I was like, something ain't wrong here. Right? And my friends were like, no, it's fantastic because they grew up with it. They were loving it because of the nostalgia, and the nostalgia swept them over. And they literally looked at me and said, you know what? We don't want to deal with your vibe right now. You're way too critical. I remember that night. Walking out of that Navy IMAX, Pierre going, I'm trying to tell you guys that there's something wrong here with this movie. And they're like,
Right.
nah, you're just a hater. You don't know. You didn't grow up with it. I'm like, that's why you should listen to me. I was talking to them yesterday. I said, y'all go online? I know y'all seen that petition. Remember when I tasted it in the air that there was going to be a big divide with this movie and y'all told me to
Smelled
shut up?
something.
I smelled something, and it's true. I do feel The Last Jedi went about it in a way that slapped a lot of people's faces. Oh, y'all think Snoke's really cool because we told you he was? Nope. Oh, y'all that raised parents or someone special? Nope. Right? So I think when we set ourselves to have certain expectations and they're not met, that's what happens. It
Right.
Comes at Night was not viewed for the movie it was supposed to be. It was viewed for, and we have videos on this as well, it was viewed for
Right.
the movie that people wanted it to be. And it's not that they hated the movie. They hated it wasn't what they wanted it to be. The Last Jedi is hated for what people wanted it to be.
So I think you're highlighting what's a really important divide here, in that most critics, at least the ones that I know personally, the ones that I've spoken to, do their best to not be influenced by marketing. But as a viewer, that's kind of the only thing you want to go on.
And that's the point.
You know, if you're talking
Great
about
point.
like Last Jedi not living up to its promises, as a critic, I think a lot of people are like, well, I don't really need a promise. But as a fan, like who's investing in this, like,
And it's fair on both
Yes.
sides.
And another thing is, you know, we do have this divide in that critics tend to be people who are seeing a lot of movies because they have to. It's literally their job. Whereas, you know, a normal person, they're not choosing between, well, do I see The Last Jedi, do I see this other movie? They're saying, do I see The Last Jedi, or do I go hang out with my friends? The bar is different for how a critic judges a movie and how a normal person judges a movie. Because, you know, a critic's not going to write a review like, I kind of like the last Star Wars better, you know?
Yeah, so no, you make a great point. It's two different worlds, right? And it's not that both can have biases. You can still have a viewer who would go like, "Okay, look, don't. I'm not dumb. I know I'm not a critic, but I can still view something and see whether it's a good story or not." And let's be completely honest, there are also a lot of other critics, as we have seen. Both of us we follow film Twitter, where you see that mob mentality of critics with one another. No, you have to praise this movie because it's part of a movement.
Yeah, try
Right?
praising 3 Billboards on Twitter right now. It's not going so well.
Right? Isn't that the weirdest part? Especially when 3 Billboards is made by liberals and you're calling it... Yeah, that's all. But do you get what I mean? Yeah, it then becomes a divide even within critics. I love when critics make fun of fanboys, right? Look at those pathetic fanboys. Look at how they can't even learn to like each other and they're all like fighting over the Marvel. It's so pathetic. That's so crazy. Are you talking about 3 Billboards?
Yeah. I can't believe you like 3 Billboards.
I can't believe you like 3 Billboards. Well, that says a lot about you. What, did I like the movie? No, that you must be racist. Homie, that's like 25 minutes of the movie that doesn't even go the way you're... It's interesting. Yeah. And I think what's interesting about it is that for fans, it becomes more of a nerd whatever debate. And with critics, because the prestige and the snobbery is so much higher, it literally becomes a thing of like politics and a political debate and all that stuff. But to both, the most interesting thing with movies has always been that as fans, as movie viewers in general, critic or fan, or just regular moviegoer, excuse me. What was your favorite movie of last year?
I mean, I went with 3 Billboards.
And if I tell you 3 Billboards is a piece of trash...
It's fine, that's your opinion.
Right. But to some of us, you say that, and it kind of feels like you're not talking about the movie. It sounds like I'm saying you're trash.
Yeah.
That is where we get into a whole nother thing.
The condescension, yeah.
Where we start acting almost like the movie is ours. And
Right.
I get it, right? Like, if Brigsby Bear is my favorite movie of the year and someone sees it and says it's a pathetic piece of trash, part of me can be like, well, if you think that's a pathetic piece of trash and you know that my opinion is connected to that and what I feel for that movie, then you're kind of in a sense saying I'm a pathetic piece of trash, right?
Right.
And it gets into this, like...
It gets personal.
It gets personal.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this briefly on last week's show in that we see ourselves in movies. That's part of why they affect us so much. So if you're seeing yourself in something and somebody just completely derides that and says it's not intellectual or it's whatever.
There's nothing to get.
Yeah. It's like, all right. I mean, I guess the profound experience I had with that movie is really dumb, but
it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because I didn't have it. You're not allowed to have it.
Exactly. So that's something that bothers me too, is the condescension that comes in some of these critiques, and I think that condescension comes from both sides. Where it's like, from the critics, it's how could you like this intellectually, and from fans, it's like how could you like this when it used to be this or something like that.
Right. Yeah. It's such an interesting divide when it comes down to that. I mean, I don't know. You can get into the Netflix debate. This is where I don't agree with the things of like, oh, it was made for the fans. I don't think you should ever say that because I don't think it should matter. I think you should say that you made it for the viewers, whether it's the critics or not. Because I'm sure, I think it might have been you who I followed it, who I saw it from. If not, I'm sure you viewed it. The whole situation with Bright,
Right.
and with Bright being like, critically tanked, yet it was the biggest movie of last year. If y'all don't know, supposedly.
Just ask Netflix. They don't release their numbers, but they'll tell you.
But trust them, right? Because you subscribe to them, so you trust them. Them saying that it wasn't a movie for critics, it was a movie for the fans.
Right.
The fans. The property that just, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Okay, sure, yeah. So it was for the regular moviegoer. And that being said, if it was for the regular moviegoer, then it was very interesting when your boy, Joel Edgerton, comes out and says, yeah, it was only for the fans. Critics don't know what they're talking about with this. Critics are becoming irrelevant. Wait a minute. Joel Edgerton had that movie called The Present.
The Gift?
The Gift, that in its own poster, marketing, and himself through the promotion was critically praised and fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing,
But they're pointless.
The CEO, I think it was Ted Sarandis of Netflix, the CEO, who said that when Netflix is getting good reviews, oh, we love the critics. Critics love us. When Netflix is getting bad reviews, oh, the critics just hate what we're doing.
They don't know what they're talking about. Yeah.
You know, and it's fair weather, and I think we also do this thing, and we're doing it now. We're totally guilty of it, of using the word fans and using the word critics and making it about a large group of people when we're talking about a small group of people. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important to recognize that nuance and that not everybody is out for something. There's a lot of perspectives out there. And if you don't see your perspective in one person's point of view, that means you can probably find it somewhere else. And it's fine. That's fine. You don't have to feel condescended upon if our opinions disagree, unless, I guess somebody's doing it in a rude way.
Mm-hmm. We're always right, though.
Yeah, we're always right. Just listen to us. That's all you need.
That's what you need to know.
I mean, I do think it is kind of interesting that the word fan, at least in the last 2 years, has no longer meant a person who enjoys a movie. Now it's a person who criticizes a movie. And I just think that's a weird point we've gotten to where we're sort of redefining the terms of being a fan, in that there's these credentials you have to have, and you have to be willing to really stick up for the older movie. I don't know.
I heard the worst definition of a fan the other day, and I really hated it. Right? It was this person talking about might have been Muse. I can't remember what it was. Talking about what a fan should be. Someone was criticizing something. It was criticizing an album. And they said, "But I thought you were a fan." It's I am.
Right.
But you're criticizing it. It's right. Then you're not a fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's what are you talking about? A fan is a fan no matter what. They follow the artist no matter what.
Right. And I guess if you want to be really reductive about it, fan comes from fanatic.
Oh my goodness. We should have a podcast together. That's exactly what I was going to say. Fan comes from fanatic, and as a fanatic, you should follow anything that they say.
But that's just such an illogical use of the word.
But you're also a human being who should have a soul and a mindset, right. And you're more logical.
Be
and you're not an
independent
idiot. Okay, yes, you can be an independent thinker. I did not like that. Yeah. I felt like it was an insult to yourself. It's not an insult to the artist. I bring up the thing that I brought up earlier. If I see a loved one making a mistake, if I see a loved one going towards a cliff and about to fall, I am going to tell them, "Yo, stop."
Right. Look, If artists can admit that sometimes they make bad work, fans should be able to admit that sometimes things are bad too.
That's the funniest part, right? I go back to I made a video on Eminem and people were like, "Wow, you said you were a fan. No, you ain't. Why are you criticizing him?" I'm like, "Oh no, that wasn't me criticizing. Here's the video."
Criticized him.
Did y'all? I like how you missed the clip where I just repeated what he said. And then that's funny because then they go, "You're not allowed to say that about him." No, he said it about him. Huh.
Right.
I think that's very interesting. I do not believe in that. I believe that you critique the things you love.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So, any final thoughts on this divide between fans and critics and the aggressiveness, I guess I'll say, of fan culture?
I'll just say it to this. If you love something, it doesn't matter what anybody else has to say about it. You enjoy it. It doesn't matter if it doesn't get the Oscar or the money or whatever it is. Some of y'all have never heard of this movie. You probably should if you do watch a show. Brigsby Bear over here that I have right there. Poster courtesy of Zach when I want to go visit over there in New York. But I just realized I'm looking at this camera and not that camera. It should be right there for those of you guys, so that whole bit will be weird. But enjoy it. I think the worst part about it is when the anger comes in. And I'm not to say anything that you can't have fun criticism and stuff when it comes to that. But when someone really just... I can understand being upset.
Yeah.
I like that. That means there's a passion there, and they legitimately... those Star Wars fans who feel duped, I get you.
Mm-hmm.
What I do not understand is when someone doesn't care about a movie and they talk about it more than the people who actually like the movie.
Right.
At that point, when you're trying to ruin somebody else's experience, at that point, when you really aren't saying, "Wow, that movie sucks," what you really are trying to say is hurt somebody else's feelings, then screw you.
Yeah, you at that point, you're going out of your way to hurt people because their opinion is different than yours.
At that point,
that's no worse than those people who do it for politics or for religion or for whatever it is.
Exactly.
Those are the assholes of the world.
There
don't
you go.
be that. We like debate. This show has debate on it.
problem.
We're cool with debate. Just not with the hate. You know, it needs to be.
Oh, look at this rapper right here. Woo.
Sometimes I rhyme. So that's all we have on our topic of the week, unless there's any last bits you had. I think we should move on to the final segment, our new to see, where we discuss what's new in theaters, to streaming, and on VOD, starting with March 9th. The big release is A Wrinkle in Time. This is Ava DuVernay's big blockbuster Disney movie. Got her directing Reese Witherspoon, Oprah Winfrey, Mindy Kaling, Chris Pine.
A lot of people.
Bunch of young kids whose names I don't know. Looks like it's going to be a fun family adventure. I haven't really heard any big responses to this one. You going to check it out, you think?
I want to, only because I heard if you go see this movie, Jimmy Kimmel and a lot of celebrities will appear in your theater and shoot you with a hot dog gun. So
I personally want some red vines that Gal Gadot herself has touched.
1000%. Anyway, I'll take regular vines. Look, I'm giving everything a shot. I really feel this has been the one, and I'm sure you've heard, and I think that these are the best ones. Have you ever been in a comment section where someone goes, "Wow, nobody got the joke, did they?" Yeah, wow, nobody got the joke. And there's so many people talking about, "Wow, nobody got the joke," and no comments of someone saying, "I didn't get the joke." This has become the movie where everyone's going like, "Wow, people really trying to give it praise for it being like progressive, but they don't really want to look at the movie. Wow, they don't really want to judge the movie. Wow, people are scared to judge the movie." Meanwhile, like no one's critiquing it yet.
Yeah, people are already like preparing
We're
for the
setting
backlash.
our own selves up. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Exactly. We're playing ourselves. Literally that. It doesn't seem like it's for me.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's not really for you, but it's
Right.
You might be able to enjoy it. Maybe you won't. Like, I think it's worth noting. Like, this is a family movie starring a young black girl, which is not something we've gotten a lot. So
True.
It's going to be for a lot of audiences that may not be us.
And I think it's going to be just as bad as Tomorrowland.
Yeah, that's the thing. That doesn't mean it's going to be good.
Right. What did we say? Everyone deserves to have their own Disney mediocre movie.
Yeah.
Black people, Asians, white, everybody. Congratulations. I'm glad. No, that's good.
Also out on March 9th, a few smaller releases: Foxtrot, Gringo,
Heard so
Itzhak,
much.
The Hurricane Heist, and Thoroughbreds. Which of those is jumping out to you, Art?
I've seen Thoroughbreds. It's one of those like I want to give a half recommended to. I feel it's better like a home viewing. It's
Yes.
such a weird movie, but enjoy it. It's very weird. The Anton Yelchin. It's not a cameo. He's like an actual performance. It's really interesting to see
It's
him in
his
there.
last one, right?
It should. I believe it's if not his last one. I remember seeing this at Sundance last year, so it's very interesting to see this one coming out. Very great performances from both of the girls.
Yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy. And I'm forgetting the other one's name.
Yeah, for me and Earl and the Dying Girl, and
But
she's
she's
gonna be coming out
really,
Ready Player
really
One. She's
good.
also fantastic. So I do recommend that one. Hurricane Heist looks like complete utter trash. I believe it was edited on Microsoft Word. I am so excited to see this movie where these morons decided the best way to rob a bank is, well, they can't chase us as there's a freaking hurricane happening. Oh, wait, we also can't keep the money in the truck because there's a freaking hurricane happening.
It looks like somebody watched Fast 5 and it's like, this isn't stupid enough.
Same producers.
Yeah, I mean,
same producers.
It definitely makes sense
Yeah.
that it's the same producers.
But Foxtrot. Foxtrot is the one I'm excited about the most. I missed it at Sundance. It was a spotlight one, but I've been hearing so many really cool things about it. So I'm very curious about it. I know it's an Israeli film. It was one that was made talking about this family and how their son died. The government did nothing about it. And it like kind of questioned like, yo, why isn't the military, why isn't Israel doing something? And real Israel, this is in the movie, and real Israel said, this movie's banned.
There's been controversy in Israel over this movie.
Yeah.
But despite all of that controversy about it, it did win Israel's Ophir Award, which is their equivalent of the Oscars, which also qualified it to be Israel's submission to the Academy Awards this year. It didn't get nominated for Best Foreign Film, but still, I do want to see it, especially because it caused so much controversy in Israel. I think there's a lot of really interesting war films or films about soldiers coming out of this new generation of Israeli filmmakers. So I want to check out Foxtrot. I'm pretty excited to see that one. I know it made Dave Ehrlich's top 25. So Some people at least like it. And then Gringo, I think it's kind of gonna be bad, but
Stop. Next.
yo, my dude Nash Edgerton directed it. I just want to say, like, please, I believe in you, Nash. I believe in you. You'll get it. You'll get it someday. New to streaming. Netflix, March 8th, Jessica Jones Season 2 pops
Holy
up for
smokes,
you
okay.
Marvel fans. That's just around the corner. And on March 9th, we're getting the third and final season of Love with Gillian Jacobs and that dude whose name I keep forgetting.
Oh,
and,
J.J. Abrams Jr., yeah.
and a new episode of My Next Guest Needs No Introduction with David Letterman. This one features Malala. PSA also to Archer fans. Seasons 1 through 7 will be off Netflix on March 14th. That's not a whole lot of time left for you to catch up on the adventures of Archer and Isis. They had the name first.
Yeah. That's terrible.
Hulu on March 8th. Knock Knock, the Eli Roth horror film. I think my girlfriend was a big fan of this one.
Fantastic gifts from that movie.
March 9th, the Power Rangers movie. That one will be on Amazon Prime as well. March 10th, Angie Tribeca Season 3. I like that show.
I like that
and
show
March
too.
12th, Force Majeure, a movie that was unjustly snubbed at the foreign language film.
Yes.
We love that movie.
Yeah, we do. We oh man, Square sucks. That's the follow-up. Square sucks in my opinion. Force Majeure, I love Force Majeure to a pat. That's one of those movies that very, very slow, but it hit me, man.
Yeah. I know that back when it was big, Julia Louis-Dreyfus had bought the rights to an American remake.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
was
feeling
so
that.
excited. No?
No, because the subtlety is what makes it.
Yeah, I mean,
Americans
I
don't know
be...
subtlety.
Okay, yeah. I don't want them to Americanize it. I would just be interested in an American version.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I don't know. I had some weird hopes for it, but I don't know if I think that project kind of died. HBO Now on March 8th, Live by Night, the most recent film directed by Ben Affleck that nobody feels like seeing. March 10th, My Cousin Rachel, which oddly stars Rachel Weisz. I still can't get over that fact.
Yeah, that's weird.
Amazon Prime, we just talked about Power Rangers is going to be there on March 9th, but also March 9th. Sneaky Pete Season 2. This is the Giovanni Ribisi show that I think Bryan Cranston co-produces, and I don't know if he's still on it. I think he was on the first season of it.
He wasn't something, yeah. I got a screening pass to go see this. I'm like, why?
It's weird when they start doing that with TV shows.
And not just a TV show, one that you're literally meant to watch at home on Amazon.
New to VOD on March 6th, the Oscar-nominated documentary Faces Places. And Oscar-nominated animated feature The Breadwinner. That one's already on Netflix, by the way. It's really,
It
really
is
good.
on Netflix, really watch it.
And Oscar-nominated Best Picture Lady Bird, also on VOD. March 6th, you also get Wonder Wheel and Novitiate, a couple of movies that wanted Oscar nominations, did not get them. Art, what's your pick for the week?
My pick for the week would have to be, 7 Seconds. Now, 7 Seconds is a 10-episode series about, if you've seen the trailer, pretty much a guy runs over a kid with a bike. It's a little black boy with a bike, right?
And the guy who runs over him is a white cop?
Okay, so yes. I see, because I went into it blank. I don't know what the trailer shows you, so I don't want to give you anything more, but if
I think
does tell you that...
Even the tagline or something.
All right, good. Because this all happens in the first 15 minutes of the show, so I don't want to give up anything after that. But that's pretty much how it goes. Runs over the kid, and there's this whole thing of like, is he gonna be able to cover it up? Go after him? How's it gonna work? And it plays a lot on that. Do you know how sometimes you like see a series and you're like, it like ends at a certain point. You're like, but what happens afterwards? Or what? This does this crazy job because the episodes are like 70 minutes long. Some go up to 90 minutes. I don't know. It was like crazy. I did not realize that, right? It's 10 episodes long. I binged it the entire day, and I was going to go to bed. I was like, I feel like I guess we're wrapping it up. And I go and I click out episode 5, starting episode 5, which made me think two things. I'm like, maybe this is too long. But then it also made me go, but why am I still watching it and willing to continue this? And
were you that hooked?
You know me. What do I always say about TV shows, man? You know what I always say about TV shows. I'm like, miss me with that.
Fewer episodes, shorter, whatever.
Ask me why I binged it by the next morning, dude.
Couldn't let it go?
There was something about it. I don't even know. There's also the guy that I've been saying. His name is... You know that guy I've been rooting for. His name's going to be everywhere. His last name's Castillo. He was an Atypical, and he was the Hispanic dude in the first season of Easy.
Yeah. I'm
blinking on his name. I feel bad.
IMDbing now.
I've been talking about this dude for the longest time. He's in this show. He does a fantastic job. Raul Castillo. That's my boy right there. Using this as well. I recommend it. I think it's fantastic. The only gripes I would give it, I think the progression is it's great as you see characters grow, switch sides, characters who hate each other come together, characters who love each other drift apart, revelations that do not feel tacked on, but we're like, holy smoke, oh, that person just realized that about the other person. And there was like, not that there was clues there, but there's things that show you that the writers didn't just go, oh, let's just shoehorn this in there. Right. It feels so, dare I say, organic.
Ooh.
The only thing that kind of hurts it at the end, and it still kind of fits because, you know, it becomes like a courtroom drama a bit, is you get that one piece where it turns into white cops kill black boys all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Is it their fault? Looks into camera lens. Or is it your fault for not making a difference? And I'm like, no, I get you, but you see, y'all did this subtlety thing, and y'all went ballsy for like
go back to that
90 minutes an episode. Yeah, do that thing. Y'all it was working really good.
So you didn't find it too preachy? Just maybe a couple moments?
There is people who literally preach. The mom and dad of the kid are very religious, and they never came off of that at all. It isn't until the end when it comes to this one character. I'll put it to you this: if I'm not selling it to you yet. You want this kid and the family to get justice because the kid gets run over by a cop and they're trying to hide it. At the same time, you want him to get justice. At the same time, the person representing them is this girl who is so bad. She's late everywhere she goes. She reeks of alcohol. She's a complete screw-up, and you're like, nah, I also want you to lose. Maybe awesome. That's why I was watching it.
Right.
So if that intrigues you or the original premise intrigues you, check it out. I think it's worth it.
Cool. I've been meaning to catch up with that on Netflix. My recommendation are going to be the movies that I mentioned a little bit earlier in the show. Those are the live action shorts, specifically DeKalb Elementary.
I'll be watching those.
And the 11 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Both of those are on YouTube. I'll throw the links down below. DeKalb is a really smart look at just human interaction set around a school shooting. So watch that one first, and then cleanse your palate with the hysterical psychiatrist screw-up patient comedy thing, 11 Hour. Both of those are on YouTube, as I mentioned, so I'll leave those in the description down below for you. But that's all for this week's show. You can catch more from me, Zach Shevich, by following me on Twitter @ZShevich or on Instagram at the same handle @ZShevich. Or check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/multiplex show. I'm going to get on my bold predictions for 2019's Oscars.
Never too
relatively
early.
Soon. Never too early. I'm already thinking ahead. Art, where can people find more from you?
You can find me at the A to Z Show on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. A lot of more stuff coming, especially for March now that we're getting into just this massive influx of movies that are coming out. So you can catch me in all those things. Tweet us. You know, if you want to talk about movies, always come in the comments. One of the things that we really want to incorporate into this show right here is your guys' questions with the interview segment. If you didn't check it out, definitely go back to the other episode. We answered a lot of your questions. We talked about how we first met.
Oh.
So a bunch of cool things like that.
Get a little bit of our backstory.
Exactly. So we just, it's gonna be really cool to just like have you guys, you know, be a part of the show. So you know, you can catch me on my own thing. You can catch Zach on your own thing. You can catch us together right here on the Intercut podcast.
Yes, catch us on Intercut every Tuesday on iTunes, SoundCloud, whatever podcatcher you want to use. You'll find our RSS feed there. And you got us here on YouTube. Hopefully you're watching and seeing our bright, beautiful, shining, smiling faces for y'all. It's nice to see us deliver it. I think there's a little bit of a nuance you get if you watch the video. And I put a lot of work into making sure it looks really good too.
This man works real hard. We stay up till like right now it's 2 for me. That means it's 3 o'clock in the morning for him. And this man still wakes up, downloads all the footage, and gets to work. So for you guys, it's free. The best thing that you could do is just comments and interact with us, because that's why we do this. We love talking movies. So
yes, those comments, those thumbs up, those shares, They really, really mean a lot to us. They let us know that we're doing something that you want to see, that you want to see more of. So thanks for all the questions that you submitted for our last episode. Have fun watching that one. Make sure you listen to all our new episodes. Check out our Facebook at Intercut Pod. Very close to 100 followers there, so maybe help push us over that boundary. And Twitter's also at Intercut Pod. Instagram also Intercut Pod. Check out for updates from both of us throughout the week. You can check out my Oscar tweets, including pictures from my Best Picture feast featuring the post roast and 3 barbecue sauces from outside Ebbing, Missouri.
It seems like someone brought a little Dunkirk donuts.
Yes.
Wasn't that out of the picture, was it?
It was a lot easier to prepare. Smart idea. Easier to prepare than my done jerk chicken wings or my well done burger idea.
I told you to make. What did we say? We had this really, really, really dumb one. It was just like Get Out chicken tenders. just add a movie to whatever it is.
So please check out those pictures. Throw me a like or retweet or whatever. And thank you so much for tuning in to yet another Intercut episode 21. Until next time. Hold up, you guys. You're going to screw up my jet ski.